What's up, everyone? It's your boy NordRed89 here, bringing you another video. And for today's video, we are going to be ranking one of my favorite new directors in the game. His films, all the films that I've seen of his. I must confess, there's one film I haven't seen, and that's The Trigger Man. It's on Amazon Prime, but I don't have an Amazon Prime account. And I'd have to get the account and pay an extra amount to see this film. So yeah, that won't be on this list. Another one of his films that's not going to be on this list is VHS, but that's mainly because he just directed and wrote one segment of that film, and it's a film that has 5 stories in one film, and a lot of other directors like David Bruckner, Adam Wingard, and stuff like that. So VHS will not be on this list either. But Ty West, yes, he's one of my favorite new directors in the game, or he's new to me, just diving into his catalog. He's amazing, and he's really hitting hard with A24 and a lot of the stuff he's producing and putting out with them. And today we're going to talk about the 8 films of his that I've seen, and we're going to rank them all against each other and see which one comes out on top. But of course, this is just my list, my personal opinion. That means I would love to hear from all of you in the comment section. Share your list of your Ty West movies. So let's do this. Roll it. Let's start off with saying that out of the 8 films, these films, all of them that I've seen of Ty West so far, I enjoy all of these films. And coming in at number 8, there has to be a bottom barrel one though. The bottom of the barrel is The Roost, as we follow 4 friends who are traveling to a wedding on Halloween night. They end up crashing their car and they're in the backwoods of Pennsylvania. They end up searching for help, and they come across some wild vampire bats that are roosting nearby, and some zombies as well. So it's a wild story. It's got some crazy stuff in it, but the reason it's sitting here at this number 8 spot is it's a very low budget film and has some very B-level mediocre actors in this movie. And there's just some points in this film where you're like, it kind of feels like it drags on and it gets a little boring, but you can still, besides all those negatives that I just said, you can still see Ty West's direction. And it being 2005, and this is one of his very early films, it feels like a kind of student film, or a film you did first right out of college, like Ty West. Like, you can just feel that in it. And I like seeing that rough, raw nature in filming, and seeing a director doing their first kind of movie. And you can still, like I said, see the style and flavor that Ty West brings to movies, cinematography, all that kind of stuff. Kind of the early start of his career in this film, The Roost. So like I said, I still have fun with this movie and would return to it. The Roost right now, you can check this one out currently on YouTube for free. So that's where you can watch this film. Coming in at number 7, we have Cabin Fever 2, Spring Fever, and this is actually the first Ty West film that I ever saw, mainly because I'm a huge fan of Cabin Fever, directed by Eli Roth, and Cabin Fever 2 is directed and the story is by Ty West, but it's also produced by Eli Roth as well. And Cabin Fever 2, the great thing about this one, let's start off with positives, is it's just such a natural progression of the story as we follow same characters, similar characters, and same ones coming back from that first film. And the virus, that skin-eating virus, is now leaked into the water, and now it's in the water system. It's going to a certain facility and a plant, and they are now packaging the water into bottled water, and they're selling it nearby. And there's a school, of course, having a prom, and these high school students are, getting all this water and getting infected with this disease. And man, just the gruesome effects, the stuff that takes place in this movie, it's got some nasty elements, like some cringy moments that just make you want to shiver, moments like that happen in this movie and stuff. But it's still a fun ride. It's a very stylish film. Like I said, Ty West always bringing style, as we have these cool kind of animated intros and an animated outro to this film, but the middle portion is all live action and stuff. But yeah, he still brings a certain style to this movie. But the reason it sits here at this number 7 spot is it does feel like a very kind of cheesy sequel. It's not as good as the first film. Like, I've given this film multiple watches because I like the Cabin Fever franchise. So I like this first film, I like the second one, don't like the next one. But yeah, this one, it's just, like I said, feels like a cheesy sequel. Production company wanted it. They got a competent director to come write the sequel and stuff. But yeah, the story progression and stuff, great. Acting is meh, acting not that great, and like I said, some of the moments that kind of happened in that third act, I don't think we actually needed them. They're more there for shock and gross value and comedy, but the comedy doesn't always land, so that's why it's sitting here at this number 7 spot. Cabin Fever 2 Spring Fever. Coming in at number 6, this might be a hot take, but from 2011, The Innkeepers. And the reason I say it might be a hot take is because I've talked to some people in the YouTube verse and seen a lot of people's lists of Ty West stuff, and Innkeepers is very high up there, very high praised. And I've said I enjoy all 8 of Ty West films. I had fun with all these movies, but the reason Innkeepers is this low is because not really enough happens, and the payoff moments in that third act don't really land for me. But the great stuff about this film is we have Pat Healy and Sarah Paxton in this movie, who are 2 great actors, and their chemistry on screen is great, and their characters really carry me through this film and keep me interested in this movie. I've watched this film twice, and the first time I watched it, wasn't really down with it. Second time, I felt more of a vibe, and I really liked it. So to be honest, over time, this might climb my list of Ty West films. But let's get into the story as we follow Sarah Paxton and Pat Healy as they're working at the Yankee Peddler Inn. It is the last weekend. That's it. This place is going to be going down. They're stripping it, selling it. They're going to get rid of it. And they're also kind of ghost hunters, but they're staying at the hotel, like Sarah, the inn, because it's the last weekend. Very few tenants, but they like creepy ghost stories. They like hunting out and trying to film and record stuff around the Yankee Peddler Inn because they're trying to dredge up some spirits and stuff. I think Madeline O'Malley is the spirit they're trying to speak to, if I remember correctly. But it's really cool. Sarah Paxton's character is the kind of young one that hasn't had a ghost experience, and Pat Healy kind of plays that guy who is making the website, has all the tech, and it's like, oh, I've had experiences, and like blah, 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 talking like kind of, very tough about it and stuff like that. And just their chemistry on screen and the way the story goes, like I said, it's very natural and it flows, but not enough happens for me. And when we get to that third act, it just doesn't land as good as another film you're going to find quite higher up on this list. And just the 5 films above this for me are just stronger movies, but like I said, maybe over time, Innkeepers might climb my list. Now we're here at the top 5, and before we get down to that, be sure to like and subscribe, especially if you're new to the channel, so you get more videos like this, and be sure to check out my playlist. I got a bunch of other rankings and reviews for horror movies, Christmas movies, all kinds of stuff. So, like I said, check out my stuff. And coming in at number 5, we have, which was a big surprise to me, Ty West dipping his hands into the Western genre in a Valley of Violence, starring Ethan Hawke, John Travolta, and Karen Gillan. And man, this film, like I said, completely surprised me because Western is, I must confess, a genre that I don't return to often. I don't get a lot out of Westerns, but what Ty West did with this one was really bring this cool style, this cool flavor. I like the cast and the entourage, so that might be a good thing. Like, the cast in general might be why I enjoy this film so much. Story-wise, very simple, I must say. Story-wise, this is probably his, besides Cabin Fever 2, this one's just kind of a straight copycat of John Wick, but in the Western era. Like I said, not spoiling anything, like, I'm just telling you right now, that's what it is. But Ty West, with his cinematography, an amazing score. This might be my favorite score out of all the films on this list. And it just really does such a great job. You might be hearing a helicopter outside my house right now. Don't know why. It's like 10 o'clock at night. But in a Valley of Violence, like I said, just one of those films that totally surprised me because Ty West, being a Western, he brought this cool style to it, this cool score, and this awesome cast, and I'm on board. And like I said, it might be a simple story because it's just John Wick in the Western time. This one came out in 2016, so I think this came out after John Wick. But In a Valley of Violence does hit hard, and I say, this is on Netflix if you want to check this one out. Highly recommend going to check it out. Coming in at number 4, we have Ty West's Pearl, and this one came out this year in 2022, and what him and Maya Goth did with this film is fabulous. You can tell they wrote the story together, and I like what they've brought into life in this franchise, in this universe of X. It's so amazing, man, and Maya Goth, really, she carries this movie, and I don't think that's a bad thing to say that she carries this movie. she carries the film, but it's because Ty West knew who he wanted to be in this role, and he trusts her enough to take control of this movie and really run with it. And man, Pearl is so great as it's a completely different film from X. It's got this kind of Wizard of Oz homage style. It feels very highly produced, not as much kind of like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre backdoor film like X. This one feels, like I said, very highly produced, got amazing scores, amazing music, and it's just bright. It's vibrant. The colors pop. And Maya Goth, as we watch her fall into basically insanity and how it affects the characters around her, and like her mom and her father, and like even her sister-in-law, like when she goes on that 6 to 7 minute kind of dialogue scene with her sister-in-law, oh, Maya Goth just eats up the scenes and the scenery in this film. It's cool. It's good cinematography, of course, because you know Ty West, and it's really cool to see Pearl because you can see the growth in Ty West. You know what I mean? He's just where he's come from, like the Roost in 2005 to now 2022 with Pearl. Man, he's putting out some awesome stuff. Next up, and rolling in at the number 3 spot, coming in from 2013, we have The Sacrament. This one's also produced by Eli Roth. And man, The Sacrament is based on the Jonestown Massacre, I believe. So yeah, the Jonestown Massacre from 1978. So it's some very tough subject matter with this film because it's based on a true story, very horrific event. But Ty West tackles it in such a kind of respectful way to me. Like, and it's a found footage film, and that is another thing. Like I said, I knew he was a good director right off the bat because I don't like westerns at all that much, and I don't like found footage that much, but he's dipped his hands into those genres and subgenres and made films that captivated me. And for me, The Sacrament is one of those films that I actually had to give this one 2 watches. I watched it twice. One, the first time, I think I was just not in the right frame of mind and I was a little bit tired and I wasn't feeling the film. The second watch, oh man, I just was totally surprised by the performances and how this film, like how it ensues and just what happens as we follow Patrick, who is a fashion photographer who is in contact now with his kind of not estranged sister, but his sister he hasn't seen in a long time. And then he gets 2 friends of his to tag along with him who kind of work for like a TMZ type, website, kind of thing. And they go to this place where their sister lives where his sister lives, called Eden Parish, which is a commune, and it's run by this guy they call the Father, who's played by Gene Jones in this movie, who just captivates every scene he's in. But what ensues when they get to this commune and they start filming and stuff, and they really start digging in deep and asking questions, dark stuff starts to appear, and you kind of find out some deep dark things. And yeah, but what happens in this movie, like I said, it just really captivated me the second time. Like I was so surprised that I think I was just, like I said, in the wrong frame of mind watching it that first time. Ty West still brings a flavor to his film, like I said, of course. And man, the characters in this one, very gripping. The moments, very scary. Like probably the horror moments, I wouldn't say they're scary to me, but the horror moments are very horrific in this film. Like he goes for it and stuff. And like I said, it's one of those movies that, like I said, could be a tough subject matter that I know some people might not be able to check out, but I think Ty West does dip his hands into it and treat it with respect. So The Sacrament sits very comfortable here at this number 3 spot on my list. Coming in at number 2, the runner-up to the top dog is going to be X. And yes, X, man, this was his first A24 produced film. I think it's fabulous that we got X first, which is, like I said, the sequel, and then we got Pearl, and then now we're gonna get Maxine next year, and that's gonna take place in the 80s. But yeah, it's fun to see X, a slasher that takes place in 1979, that ending era of 70s going into the 80s, another period piece film, and another example of a movie of why I would say Ty West is probably the king of period piece filming at this time. He's done films in the 70s, in 1918, a Western. We're going to be getting a film in the 80s, and he slam dunks it every freaking time. He's really good at these movies. I'm telling you, this is a film or a man that you really need to check out his filmography because he has a lot to offer. And X is such a good film because it's like a backdoor raw kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, but it's a good film that has really strong themes at the center of it and good story. And I like the fact that he casted Maya Goth to play, you know, Maxine and Pearl, and they mirror each other very well, their characters and stuff, and the themes are strong between them two in this film. That's a very good centerpiece of this movie. But we also have a fabulous other scream queen in this film as well, Jenna Ortega. So a good cast all around. I think Ty West just knows what he's doing, and the cinematography is probably some of my favorite in this one. X is probably one of his most gorgeous films, besides the number one, the one that we're going to get on to next. X is definitely easily one of the most gorgeous films he's done, and really, you need to check out this film. And the kill shots, kill scenes, all worth it. It's one of those films that has this cool tension, cool vibe. He's kind of playing with you, and then once it hits, it goes balls to the wall, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. But there has to be a number one, a top dog out of all these movies. I love them all, but there is a number one, hardcore. From 4 on up, those are 4.5 to 5-star films, and here's a strong 5-star film for me, The House of the Devil from 2009. What Ty West did with this movie was just totally grabbed me for real. Like, this is a film, like, a great way to describe this film for me, just coming from my perspective, is this is a film that if you were to ask me 10 years ago that this would have been one of my favorite horror films in the last 10 years, I would have lied, like, and said, no way, you fucking lying to me, no freaking way. And yeah, it grabs me. In 2009, like, I didn't see The House of the Devil until recently, like I said, because I've just started diving into Ty West filmography, but I just love all these movies, man. Like, they're all so good. So I keep returning, and we get to follow Jocelyn Donahue in this one, who plays Samantha as she's a college student looking to go on, live in college and move on and have her own place, her own house or her own apartment kind of thing. So she's shopping for places. We have Dee Wallace in this film, who plays a landlord, which I thought was fabulous. And man, really, Samantha needs a job as well and money to try to pay for this new place. Ends up taking a babysitter job to Tom Noonan, who plays Mr. Ullman. And what ensues that night when she babysits at his house, and the lies, the plot twists. And it's not kind of crazy plot twists either, because Ty West sets you up at the beginning of the movie with a title card sequence telling you about satanic cults and how in the 70s it was a very big thing back then, how some people, there was a great percentage of the population that didn't even believe that stuff was even going on. So he tells you right from the beginning what you're kind of getting into, but he still plays with you. Ty West still plays with you and has this tension looming throughout the whole film. The cinematography, the soundtrack, and the score, some of my favorite 70s songs are in this film, and just the way he carries this movie, he has me. And he does, again, lean heavy on his main actress to carry you through this movie. But I think, like I said, he knows who he wants. So when he casts an actor or an actress, leaning on them, he trusts them. And it's so great to see Jocelyn Donahue as Samantha in this film, carries a lot of the scenes that she's in and really captivates you. And it's a lot of intrigue, curiosity. One of my favorite things about this film is Ty West keeping into that period piece filming. It has a very 70s raw nature to the filming, that film grain in this film. When I was watching it, and I was like, damn, I'm watching this now in 2020, but this film looks like it's from 2009. Like, what the hell? Like, from the 70s. Like, it's from 2009, sorry. I watched it in 2020, and I'm like, damn, this film looks like from the 70s. Like, you cannot tell me that this film was filmed in 2009. So yeah, Ty West did a fabulous job with The House of the Devil. It easily sits here at this number one spot. I've watched it 3 times now after re-going through all these films. Watched it back then and just watched it a couple more times. Yeah, The House of the Devil, it just hits every time. It's got a very captivating third act, and like I said, once it takes off, it's kind of like X. It's like 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, and I love the moments in this film. Like, I think there's actually some genuinely scary moments in this film, especially when we get to that third act and she's dealing with the satanic cult, and we have Samantha, our character, captured by them and what they do to her. Like, whew. There's some creepy moments in this film, man, but Like my hair's standing on end right now, but I can't wait. I want to watch it again right now because yeah, Ty West, like I said, all the films, all the subgenres and stuff he's dipped his hands into, I love. And this is just my list, my personal opinion and my ranking of Ty West films and all the films that I've seen. Like I said, I would love to hear from all of you in the comment section. Share your list or talk about some of your favorite Ty West films. I would love to hear from all of you. But be sure, most importantly, to have a safe and happy day, everyone. Peace out.